All right, thank you so much for coming here. Thank you for the organizers to let me speak in front of you today. I'm going to talk about some experience from my own multiplayer game dev. And first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Andrey Chegodaev. I am a self-taught game developer. I've been making games for about 4 years. And right now, I'm super happy to lead a small team of enthusiasts that is currently working on a multiplayer game. And it is our first multiplayer game. It's a first multiplayer project for myself too, so we're quite excited. The name is Bunny Ops. It's an unannounced multiplayer shooter. We're working very hard to announce it on Steam very soon, so fingers crossed it will be announced sometime soon. Let me show some gameplay from it. So as you can see, it's a third-person shooters where bunnies try to fight with each other low violently. It has some tactical component, and it has total destructibility. So if you don't like anything on the level, you can destroy it. So now that you know the context, let me dive right into the first insight. It sounds quite on the surface, but there is no add multiplayer button, especially in Unity, which means that there is no way that will automatically transfer all of your single-player code into multiplayer code, which means in its turn that you will have to do it all with your own hands and spend a lot of time and nerve cells. So if you want to design a multiplayer game, maybe try thinking about multiplayer it from the very beginning. Except there is one exception. You may want to test your multiplayer ideas as a general core prototype in a single player setting because it's just a cheaper and faster way to do so. That's exactly how the bunnies were born. This is the first single player prototype of the game, and I didn't start working on it as a multiplayer game until I was super sure that it's fun in a single player environment. On to the next thing. Oh, by the way, this one is still playable. You can find it on itch.io. This and all the other links will be available in the final slide. So the next thing is that multiplayer solutions are different. I can think of several from the top of my head. Fusion, Fishnet, Mirror, Unity has its own multiplayer solution with a catchy name, netcode for game objects. All of them are different. Some are faster, some are smaller, better in quality, you got what I'm trying to say. Some are better, some are worse. Some of them have the state-of-the-art documentation. Some of them are pretty not like that. Some have better communities, some have grumpier communities. All of them cost money, but the monetization models are different. In some ways you pay for traffic, in some other ways you pay for concurrent players. And all of them have different topologies. And I'm going to talk about topologies in my next slide. And my sincere apologies for this terrible pun. That's okay, I'm a dad, I'm allowed. So topologies are just a fancy way to say this is how our players connect to the network. All of them have their drawbacks and advantages. So the server topology is basically what you see in every mobile multiplayer game. When you don't have the create game button, you just press play and you get connected to somewhere, and the somewhere is not another player, it's a server. It's a dedicated server. This topology is the best in terms of cheating. I mean, it's the worst in terms of cheating, so it's worse for cheaters because all the network computations are done remotely, so not super great for cheaters. But it costs money. It costs money because you have to rent those dedicated servers. Quite the opposite thing is the host topology. The host is usually the player who starts the game, and all the other players connect to this game, and this host player serves as a server, and all other players are called clients in this case. So in this case, all the network computations are done on the host side, which means that it is easier for them to cheat. It means that they have the advantage in latency, but it also means that you don't have to pay for a dedicated server. So TLDR, good for co-op, bad for competitive multiplayer. And then there is a shared topology, which is kind of a middle ground. It is cost efficient. It is okay in terms of security, and it's pretty okay in terms of latency and state authority. So it's probably good if you don't have much money and you want to create a competitive video game. So multiplayer coding is harder. It's another insight, and it just takes more time, especially for an inexperienced game developer like myself. It takes more time, it takes more lines of code, it takes more tries to make things work. And to illustrate it, I prepared a couple of charts for you. So to the left, the single player thing is how I usually write the code for a single player. I write the code, I test the code, it works perfect, it doesn't work. I write and test a little bit more. If it still doesn't work, I go online. And there is a super high chance that someone on the internet will have a beautiful solution for my problem. In multiplayer, it's not the same thing, because even if your game works, it doesn't mean that it works for everyone. So I have many, many, many cases when I was so happy that something is working for me in my multiplayer project, and then I started playtesting it, and it only works for me. So you need to test more for different edge cases. Another problem is that the amount of help that you get to your multiplayer solution is only limited to this multiplayer solution community, as opposed to the huge community of a engine that you're working with, would be Unity or Godot or Unreal Engine, whatever you're using. And it might seem that there is not so much help out there on the internet, but in fact there is. It just need to unlearn how to look for this help. In fact, I had to do it myself, so I started reading the documentation. It's boring, it's not visual, but it is working. I started looking under the hood of the sample projects provided by Multiplayer Solutions. I added myself to a couple of Discord channels. I watched several super long courses on how to make those multiplayer games. Again, links on the last slide. I ended up looking for the person to help me out to code the game with me, who is more experienced. Carl, hello, you're a rock star. And yeah, I guess that's it. As our national treasure, Avril Lavigne, says, that's the life, that's the way it is. And then, good news, you released your game. And probably you think that this is where my problems end, but no, you just got yourself some post-release multiplayer-related problems, because in your multiplayer games, and it's quite obvious, you need several people, many people, to play your game at the same time. Otherwise, your game is dead. So you might think about maybe investing time into finding yourself a good community manager, or alternatively, you can just dump this problem with huge amounts of money for marketing. The choice is yours. And again, talking about money, you will need some money for your post-launch maintenance. So Photon Fusion, which we're currently using, asks for $1,500 per year for 500 people, concurrent users each month. So bad news, it's a lot of money, and good news, if you have 500 people playing your game at the same time, then you'll probably find this money. And that's about it, guys. I think if you have any questions, I'll be super happy to answer to them. Yeah, please join us on Discord. We're also looking for another animator. If you know some who is an animator, yeah, we're looking for you. Thank you so much. Yes, sir. I don't know what it means. Yes, so thank you. What are my thoughts about synchronous versus asynchronous multiplayer? Well, I think that those two paradigms exist for a reason, so you won't be able to play competitive shooters asynchronously until it's something like super hot, but in multiplayer, I don't know. Or you probably won't be able to play chess. You don't need probably synchronous multiplayer if you play chess unless you want to do it. I don't know if I answered your question. My thought about it, that's both paradigms are beautiful. I don't know. Yes? Uh, Good question. How do games get away with peer-to-peer topology? Like, I'm talking about big AAA games, or Sam is talking about big AAA games. I guess for two reasons, because they don't have any other way to do it, because either way Ubisoft would have to rent dedicated servers all over the world, but they're greedy, or they just have to sacrifice something. In this case, they sacrifice the latency for other some players who host the game against the disadvantage of players who don't host the game. And again, For Honor is not like a super high-speed title like Valorant or Counter-Strike, but yeah, I guess that's it. That's why. So technically speaking, P2P is a subset of host, because peer-to-peer is like when a host connects to the client. It's just, in many cases, it's not super correct to call it peer-to-peer, because it's host to peer to host to peer to host to peer. Yeah. Thank you.